Okay, we're good, right? Yep. Okay. May I have a motion to enter public session?
I'll make the motion.
May I have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, motion has been made by Ms. Grosso and seconded by Mr. Dambola. Upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education shall return to open session at approximately 7:04 p.m.
All in favor? Ayes?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Motion carried.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, do we have any communications to share?
We have none.
Great. Dr. Conklin, can we go into the superintendent's report?
Yes. I'd like to introduce Ryan Keegan and Ben Miglasio. Did I say that right, Ben?
No, not really.
All right. I didn't think so. Why don't you say it out loud so I can do it?
Migliaccio.
Migliaccio. I got it. Thank you, Ben.
All right.
We're here as the house presenters. I'm sorry, I don't want to steal your thunder. We are from the middle school, and they're going to present about their houses.
Hi, we are two of the 8th grade house leaders representing the student body. I'm Ryan Keenan and the leader of Courage.
And I'm Ben, the house leader of Endurance. We have had a lot of fun and exciting things happen in GCMS. We would love to tell you a little about them. On Wednesday, November 24th, we had our first house day. It was a very fun day full of exciting, intense games that kept the other students engaged and happy before the Thanksgiving break. The day provided an opportunity for students to engage in a friendly, competitive environment as they tried to win points for their houses. At the end of the day, all the students gathered outside with their houses for 2 final events. First, Mr. Bertolo came to the middle of the field and was pied in the face by the 3 winners of the readathon. The HSA sponsored the event and raised over $1,000. The Tug-of-War Tournament took place after Mr. Bertolo was pied. It was fun to watch all the students smiling and laughing during the tug-of-war because they were having so much fun.
Our next house day is going to be before the winter break, and we are beginning to organize the activities. We hope to make the next house day even better than the last one. We know the students are looking forward to it.
We are also hosting a gingerbread house competition for the students and staff this month. Photos of the completed gingerbread house are due on December 17th. Once all the photos are submitted, then a Google form will be sent to all the students, allowing them an opportunity to vote for their favorite gingerbread house. The top 3 winners will earn points for their house.
GCMS also recently adopted 20 families from St. Joseph's Hospital in Patterson and 13 from Newark Beth Israel through advisory. All of these families have a child being treated for cancer at one of the hospitals. The advisories met a few weeks back to find out which specific child they were going to provide gifts for this holiday season. Students then created a list of all the gifts they felt the child and their siblings might like to receive. Advisory is meeting again on Wednesday to bring in and wrap the gifts. This is a great way for GCMS students to help make a difference for someone else this holiday season. Thank you to Dr. Conklin and the entire board for your time this evening.
Thank you so much. I'd also like to report that the Department of Education did a targeted review about our transition program for students with IEPs, and it focused on transition to adult life. And we had 100% compliance after the required review. So I'd like to thank Ms. Madera for working with them to get us fully compliant with the requirements under the New Jersey Administrative Code.
Thank you.
We also have a presentation tonight. If you don't mind, I'd like to introduce them.
Great. Let's do it.
We have Lisa Blackman and Mary Cunningham, and I'd like them to talk about some of the wonderful work they're doing to support our students throughout the school district.
Do you want a presentation?
Yeah, it's going to come down.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Lisa Blackman. I am the supervisor of the School Counseling and Guidance Department at James Caldwell High School. I'm here this evening because I want to talk about a fairly new program that we have running, our dual enrollment program. This is a program that actually allows our students to take typical James Caldwell High School courses that we have been offering for many years. But what's nice about it is in addition to earning their credits at James Caldwell High School to meet their high school graduation requirements, they also have the opportunity to turn these courses into the opportunity for them to earn college credits. Currently, we have 9 courses at James Caldwell High School that students can take for this dual enrollment program. So they're earning James Caldwell High School credit, and they also have the option to earn college credit as well. These courses, like I said, there are courses, but we have connected ourselves with 2 universities, Fairleigh Dickinson University, as well as Seton Hall University, and that is where students have the option of registering for these college level classes as well. And one of the things that I will certainly highlight towards the end of this presentation is also the cost benefit, which is a highlight that we want to make sure that we make everyone aware of. We began our dual enrollment program just a few years ago. 2019-20 was the first school year that we offered this program. At that time, we had about 38% of the students enrolled in our high school courses also take advantage of using that as college credit as well. During the 2021 school year, we saw a little bit of a drop in participation down to 12.5%. We can all understand why we saw that little bit of a drop. There was a little bit of uncertainty that year, but we have already started to build back up those numbers for the 21-22 school year. Currently, we have about 25% participation. That's actually incomplete info at this time because our students also have an option to take semester level classes, so we do not yet know how much participation we'll have with our semester 2 classes, but we definitely will see that 25% increase for this year as well. We're still growing the dual enrollment program. It's fairly new. Our students are starting to understand more about it. Our families are certainly starting to understand more about it. So we do look for these numbers to increase over the years. So these are our current course offerings. At the moment, we run classes in 4 different departments. When we created our business department just a few years ago, as soon as we instituted those couple of business classes, the Intro to Business and the 21st Century Marketing, right away we just transitioned those into some of our dual enrollment classes. The rest of the classes that you see here, like I said, were courses that have been in the running for a number of years. We have a number of classes in our science department as well as our social studies. And currently in our world language department, our Latin 4 honors is also a dual enrollment program. I like to point that out because our students who take Spanish and Italian have the opportunity to take an AP exam and potentially earn some college credits through that program. But it's not a possibility for Latin, so we were able to offer that for our Latin students through our dual enrollment program. The way that we share out this information, how can everyone know a little bit more about it? So the first place to turn is our program of studies, which we create every year. Within the program of studies, we have a chart that lists every single class that we run at James Caldwell High School, and we make sure that in that chart we denote which of those courses are dual enrollment. If you dig a little bit deeper into the program of studies and take a look at the course descriptions, within the course description you'll also know exactly which college or university that course is affiliated with. When school counselors meet with students, usually late winter, early spring, to start to talk about the next year's classes, we make sure we discuss with students any classes that they're already thinking about requesting in their schedule. We make sure that we point out to them whether or not it's a dual enrollment class. So we get that information out in that way. And we also explain to them exactly how the registration process works, because you'll request the class at James Caldwell High School, but to register for the college course is a little bit of a different process as well. Teachers will certainly share out that information as soon as they get those students in the class. Registration doesn't begin until the following school year when the classes resume. In September, any students that are in a full year class or a first semester class, they'll receive that information from their teacher. Teachers will also share that information out at back to school night. And then when second semester starts, any teacher that's teaching a second semester class, they'll also make sure that they share with all of their students exactly what the registration process is. Because we don't have another back to school night, we are making sure that we push out that information to our parents as well. We're going to, ahead of semester 2, start to advertise that and make sure we share out that information in our principal's weekly update that he sends out to families. And Ms. Elizabeth Fisher will also make sure that she includes that information in her winter version of the newsletter that she's been sending out to families. One of the things that I do want to point out, and we make sure that we share this with our students and our families as well, is that the deadlines are set by the university, so it's very important that students and families adhere to them. We have no control over that, so the best amount of control that we have is to make sure that we point out that they need to stick to them. We try to have as much flexibility as we can within our schools, but when it's outside of our control, the best that we can do is make sure that students understand that deadlines are important. So that cost benefit that I wanted to talk about. For our Fairleigh Dickinson courses, students that enroll, they're paying $89 per credit. Most of our classes are 3-credit classes, so it's about $270 that they're spending per course. For our Seton Hall classes, they're $100 per credit, so that brings it all the way up to $300 per course. But you can see a little bit of comparative information about if those students were taking a similar course as an undergraduate, that is the amount of money that they would be paying per credit. These are a number of schools that we definitely see our students going to. So you can see that a 3-credit class can cost anywhere from $1,500 to over $6,000 if they take it outside of James Caldwell High School. So it really is something that like I said, we're hoping more and more students take advantage of. I just wanted to show you a really quick example of how easy it is for students to actually register for the course. There's 2 different colleges, so there's 2 different systems that they employ. Fairleigh Dickinson makes it very streamlined. There's actually a website that students and parents will go to. You find James Caldwell High School within the drop-down menu, and it will pull up only the courses that we run so that there's no confusion. You just add to your cart the courses that you're enrolled in, and you can submit your payment online. We've looked ahead a little bit, and Fairleigh Dickinson's deadline is going to be February 15th, which is actually a couple of weeks after a second semester starts. So there's some time in there for students to make sure they accomplish it. Seton Hall's registration process, all still pretty simple, but just a couple of steps. You actually need to go online in order to request a registration form be emailed to you. That then needs to be printed out and mailed to Seton Hall, and then they will send students a second email in which it will explain to them exactly how to process their payment. And it looks like Seton Hall's deadline for second semester is going to be February 16th. The beginning of the year, the deadlines are usually somewhere around the end of September, beginning of October. So again, students have a few weeks to find out a little bit about the class, to understand the registration process, and make sure that they make that deadline. We are very happy with the percentage that we see so far. Like I said, we're really hoping that once we grow that culture, we'll be able to see even more students taking advantage. And we also want to keep our options open to possibly even add to our offerings at some point in the future as well. All right, thank you so much for giving me a chance to explain about one of our new programs. I appreciate it.
Ms. Blackman, I just have one
Yeah.
question. If you could just clarify, because I know for me, I was new to all of this being a parent at the high school. Does the child have to plan on attending one of those universities, Seton Hall, to receive the credits? Can you just elaborate
Yeah, sure.
on that?
So students will earn college credit, which will then, they can attend any of these schools, and that would be fantastic. But if not, students will leave James Caldwell High School also with a college transcript. The same as any student who may transfer to another school, you can have your transcript sent to that next university. The courses that we run are pretty standard, so we feel pretty good that a lot of these credits will be able to transfer to most universities. I can't guarantee all universities, but we feel like students should be able to transfer most of these credits. So it's not just strictly to the ones that we are connected to. You can transfer those credits to other colleges as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
So I'm here to talk tonight, I'm Mary Cunningham, about some of the highlights of our social emotional learning programs that are going on in the district, kindergarten through grade 12. So some of these I'm involved with, and some of them I'm just sort of representing for the groups. Again, this isn't everything, but there's some really cool highlights here about things that we're doing. I'm clicking here.
On the right.
Oh, it's the one on there. Yeah. Thank you. I wanted to start first talking about our elementary program. Some people may recognize the Peace Model Project. Our elementary school program is a collaboration with the Bridge. which is a mental health agency, and this is a long-time partnership over 45 years, not at the elementary level, but partnering with the Bridge in terms of school-based counseling and support services. So the Peace Model counselors, they're also called the Bridge counselors, are credentialed mental health clinicians who are employed by the Bridge, and they provide school-based services in our elementary schools and also in our middle school. And so they are the embedded counselor. Many people just see them as, they're working hand in hand with the teachers every day in each one of the 4 elementary schools. I think the program is unique in that it really is a partnership. It's about infusing mental health and restorative practices and getting teachers and mental health clinicians to collaborate together in the elementary school setting and providing education and things like that. What I wanted to talk about, we wanted to highlight tonight, is that we work with a curriculum that reaches and is delivered to 100% of the elementary students. It's called Peace First. We didn't actually name it. Peace First is, I don't know if you can click on, were you able to click on Peace First? Yeah, right there, which would take us. Peace First is available online for parents if you want to see it. It is a terrific curriculum, K through 6, where we deliver it K through 5 in our elementary schools. And we can go back now. And the program is, again, it's delivered once or twice a month with counselor going in and partnering with teacher. It is graduated K through 5, so it's developmentally appropriate. And the reason why the team picked it, this is back in 2017, is that it really focuses on character development and values, but from a community perspective. So the focus of the program is on teaching kids to develop empathy, but using the classroom environment and the community as the basis for that. It's a really nice program. You can see that there's several C's there: communication skills, cooperation, conflict resolution. Each lesson and each grade gets 8 to 10 lessons a year that are brought into the room, into the classroom, is all of those skills, but targeted at the age level. So it's really terrific, and I encourage anyone who's interested to look online if you want to know some more information. At Grover Cleveland Middle School, we wanted to highlight the advisory program, which is a program that was established in 2017 by the team at the middle school, teachers, counselors, and administration. Every student in grades 6, 7, and 8 belongs to a team, and this is different than the houses. Basically, there's a faculty member and a team of about 10 to 12 students, and they stay together for 3 years. So it's the faculty advisor and the students. There's 53 faculty advisors, and they engage and facilitate guided activities and discussions that have social emotional emphasis. So there's a 30-minute session twice a month where everything else in school stops and you're in this group that then continues for 3 years. And we have here this is just some of the topics that are being covered in advisory this year. So you can see there's different things: screen time regulation and health, peer relationships, 6 ways to ask for help. So this is infused and embedded throughout the day. And it's all about students establishing a connection with at least one adult, a person who gets to know them and serve as a guide. It's a terrific program. At the high school level, we wanted to highlight our peer leadership program. We're very, very grateful. I worked with the Princeton Institute for Leadership Development. This is all the way back in 2009-10. And this is a partnership that's sponsored by our Board of Ed financially and in collaboration with our Municipal Alliance. And we're really grateful for the support from both. we were working with Princeton Institute. They had developed a curriculum for peer leadership and mentoring. And we've really made the program our own over the course of a number of years now. What this consists of is we have 11th and 12th graders who go through a whole application process. We put a lot of effort into that, into getting students who want to develop themselves as leaders. And then what they do is they work with a cohort of about 8 to 10 ninth graders. Again, over the course of the entire year. It begins with orientation. Every freshman who enters the high school, at the moment they enter, are introduced to their 2 peer leaders who are developing in a class. They take a class every week to develop themselves and their co-leadership pair to lead them. And they really own their group of freshmen and take care of them throughout the year. It's also got some curriculum teeth to it, which is really good. We have a curriculum, and the peer leaders attend a class weekly that occurs before school. So they come in at 7:10 in the morning. We have class tomorrow morning. And they are in with 5 faculty advisors. So you have your faculty advisor, your team of peer leaders. We've got about 52 this year. They're paired up, and then they are going and bringing curriculum and activities, social emotional, to their cohort of freshmen. So it's a really nice structure. The 4-week cycle for the peer leaders is there's week 1, curriculum that develops them as leaders. The second week, they experience with their faculty advisor what they're going to bring into their freshman group. The third week, the 2 co-leaders are prepping it and doing it, and then they have a 4th week of debrief reflection, and it starts again. What's really cool about this is we're kind of cross-pollinating our upperclassmen who are interested in this, and we really look for a diverse group who want to do this. And a lot of them will say that they benefit from this because they'll say, I might co-lead with somebody or be in a group with other 11th and 12th graders that I really wouldn't get to know. They're experiencing the outreach and then they're delivering it. So it's kind of turnkey social emotional activities and learning from one grade to another. And teenagers love to mentor, and they do it well, but we really do put a lot into mentoring them as they do it. So those are some of our skills and things that we're developing. We're doing a lot this year with developing social skills, even having some activities that are encouraging people to make eye contact after being on Zoom, right, for a year and a half. Our 9th graders this year, we're in 7th grade when COVID began. So we have a lot. And then here we also have, turnkey social emotional learning. It's a really great program, and we have about, 98 to 100% of the peer leaders want to return after doing it for a year, so they get to do it for 2 years. And so I have here, and I guess this will be posted, contacts for the people who would be, if anybody wanted to have more questions or be connected with anybody who's running these specific programs, or can put you in touch with more questions, if you have questions. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
I had one more thing, if you don't mind. I just wanted to, again, thank everyone for their hard work in mitigating COVID-19. I think we're doing a good job. I just want to say this one thing. I know the numbers are slowly ticking up. I know that because the first 3 months we had 50 positive students, and in the last week and 1 day, if you can see by all my notices, we're up to 30. So I just would like to try to reinforce as much as I can to remember to social distance, remember to wear your mask when you can't social distance, and if you can, please get vaccinated. That's my spiel. Thank you.
Thank you. And we definitely second that. We're getting past this pandemic, hopefully, and we all, by working together, will hopefully continue the positive trends at least we've been seeing in Caldwell-West Caldwell. But we are seeing the numbers tick up. Okay, from the President's report, there's just two things I want to mention. First, an update on filling our unfortunate vacant board seat. We did receive 11 applicants for that position. The board selected 3. We interviewed those 3 this evening. We will be making a final selection during the week and announcing that at our board meeting next Monday. All right, so thank you for all those applicants, and also for those 3 that came in this evening. And then lastly, a quick, just in case nobody heard, our football team are state champs. So I just have a quick summary I wanted to read, prepared by our athletic director, Dan Romano. This year's Chiefs football team just completed a remarkable season, finishing as the first 12-0 football team in our school's history. Entering the season with a mere 32 players, the Chiefs were able to avoid a big injury, as well as COVID, and complete an 8-game regular season and 4 incredible state playoff games. With the completely revamped schedule, our team played many formidable opponents, including the North Jersey Group 1 state champs, Cedar Grove, Group 2 Sectional 1 finalist, Hanover Park, and Group 1 sectional finalist, Mountain Lakes. In the end, our football team earned the Super Football Conference Championship, placing 5 members on the All-Division First Team. However, highlighting the season was winning the first ever North Jersey Group 2 state championship, beating Jefferson High School at MetLife Stadium on a day that these kids will never forget. Coach Tom Lamont and his staff were outstanding and deserve so many accolades, working tirelessly 7 days a week throughout the entire season. We should acknowledge our 15 fabulous seniors who flawlessly led our team week in and week out. We should be proud of all those associated with the Chiefs football program. So congratulations to our football team.
Board President, if I may.
Yes.
Next week, we will actually be inviting the captains of the team and the coaches, along with the principal of the high school and Mr. Romano, to properly congratulate them on their tremendous win and season this year. We'll be holding the board meeting in the Harrison Auditorium to allow for a larger capacity.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Conklin.
Dan, can we also just say that the board will also, I'd like to acknowledge the cheerleaders who were out there and were phenomenal. I don't know if you see our cheerleaders, but they were amazing. They won many accolades for their stunting, and they were certainly a sight, and those boys were lucky to have them on the sidelines. And also our pep band. They might have been small, but they came out every week and they played their hearts out even at MetLife. And I can tell you, going week to week, just the entire community spirit in the high school was something very special to watch, from the football players to the coaches to the cheerleaders to the music department. It really was a great example of what we want our school community to be, which is one united front. So congratulations, looking forward to really celebrating all these kids next week. So one more round.
And just to pile on, there's something that I saw the other day, right after they won, and it was a parent making a comment about how these kids were not just athletes, but how they truly went, and they were specifically speaking about how they went and mentored the junior Chiefs and how they helped them to learn the skills and practice with them, and also showed up to their games to support them. So they weren't just athletes, they were phenomenal human beings.
Yeah.
And I really think that's a tribute to the community, to their families,
Totally.
and to everybody, because it really does take a village, as probably overused that phrase is. So I can't say how proud the Board of Ed is of those kids.
Yeah.
So, thanks again.
Here, here.
Okay, we do not have anything to vote on tonight. We will be voting on all our items next week. We will also have 2 committee reports next week. So you got to come out next week because there's going to be a lot going on. So now we're going to open it up to public comment on agenda items. So public participation shall be governed by the following. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration and may only address items which are on the agenda at this time. Participants may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard, and all statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. So if there are any questions on the agenda, please, if you could come up to the podium and microphone. No questions on the agenda tonight. Okay. Since I did mention we will be hitting the committee reports next week, I'm going to now just open it up to questions on anything outside of the agenda. And all those rules do hold. So if anybody does have any questions or any comments you'd like to make, please do come up to the podium microphone.
Board members, birthday girl. My name is Sue Callahan, and I'm president of the Caldwell-West Caldwell Education Association. Representatives from the CWCEA and I have come tonight to express our concerns regarding district programming changes and their curricular impacts on our students. Essentially, our students are suffering, and we as educators do not feel empowered and trusted to help them. District initiatives, administrative decisions, and innumerable goals over the past few years have left many students, particularly our elementary students, feeling overwhelmed and stressed. A prioritization of the need for data has left our district ailing, and we need to restore it to good health. For 3 years, the CWCEA has met with administrators to express our concern over trends, decisions, and mandates that have been imposed by the administration, resulting in a constant flux of new data-driven pedagogy, expensive cookie-cutter programs, unreasonable expectations, and ever-increasing stress on students and teachers. As a collaborative body, the CWCEA is more than contract negotiators. Our association has always sought to facilitate and enhance the experiences and education of district children. Our relationship with our administrators has always been collegial and cooperative. Under previous administrations, teachers had different routes that we could follow when we had concerns about the education of our students. One mechanism for discourse was periodic liaison meetings, but this year, these unfortunately have been eliminated. These meetings allowed teachers to talk with the board and administration about the work we are all committed to and have dialogue about areas of concern. In lieu of these meetings, we were encouraged by our central administration to bring our concern to the board meetings. So here we are in our Caldwell blue, right, sharing our observations with you for the benefit of students and staff. As educators, we only want the best for our students. As president of the CWCEA and advocate for our teachers, I would be remiss if I did not address the school climate and feelings of CWCEA members who are at the front line in the district's educational system. Just as our students are suffering, so are our teachers. Teachers are the heart of the schools. If teachers are ailing, students are impacted. During our discussions with administration, more often than not, we have been told that we need to talk about specifics rather than emotions. The fact is, you cannot take emotions out of the equation. Our teachers are human beings who have emotions and care about students. You cannot be an educator and not talk about the emotional well-being of both students and teachers. The fact is, our district's teachers are feeling demoralized and undervalued. We are being asked to do things that we feel are not in the best interest of our students. We are required to implement programs, pacing, and philosophies for which many of us do not see the value and benefit to children. We are witnessing the deleterious effects of mandated pacing guides and programs on our students. We are being treated as a failing district. We are not a failing district. Therefore, we are standing up for our students. We are asking for a meaningful place in the dialogues that need to happen. We are asking to be listened to and valued for our professional insights and knowledge. The district needs to explore and evaluate the effects and ramifications of decisions that have been made and goals that have been set. Discussions need to occur to evaluate what is happening in the classrooms across this district. If selected programs and initiatives are not succeeding, then changes need to be made. Teachers need to be a part of these discussions, evaluations, and decisions. We also need to explore why teachers are leaving the district in record numbers. Last year, over 11 teachers resigned or retired. Many of these retirees left earlier than they had originally planned. And since September, we have seen 5 teachers resign. We must ask ourselves, why is our rate of retention on the decline? In closing, our students are not widgets and our teachers are not robots. Representatives from the CWCEA plan to come to board meetings in the upcoming months to express our concerns. As individuals on the front lines of the school system, we see our students suffering from decisions that are being made and programs that are being implemented. As educators of our children, the heart of our schools, and experts of our profession, we must champion the education of our students. Thank you. We look forward to working together for the betterment of Caldwell-West Caldwell schools and students. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Board President, if you don't mind, I respond. Sure. Thank you. Caldwell-West Caldwell is a thriving community and home to a successful school district of caring educators. Obviously, you can see many here tonight. Engaged families and amazing students. As noted in our recent newsletter that I sent out, we are proud of all our community and what is great about Caldwell-West Caldwell Public Schools. Despite all of the obstacles the pandemic has brought, we continue to come together as a community, focused on our mission to foster, inspire, and champion learning for all. Our students are the center of every decision we make, and we thank our families for entrusting us with their children, and our board and the CWC staff who work relentlessly on behalf of our children. As a public school district, it is our responsibility to provide each and every student with their very best education possible. To do this, like all school districts, we analyze how we are doing, create goals, adopt appropriate materials, provide evidence-based resources, and adopt research-based programs to identify and meet the needs of our children and support the teachers. As you know, one of last year's goals was to develop the 5-year strategic plan. A team of teachers, community members, administrators, and board members met with expert strategic planning consultants to create the plan, which is posted on our website. Some of the goals are around boosting reading performance, aligning assessments to state standards, integrating technology, and ensuring student wellness. Some of our 5-year goals include measurable growth in student performance in areas like reading and math, and require us to monitor student learning and to implement more current standard-aligned assessments, programs, and evidence-based practices. Based on the timeline of curriculum and instructional initiatives, there have been incremental changes over time and only a few new programs introduced this year. If anyone would like to ask, I'm happy to share with them the curriculum dating back to 2012 to the present, so they could see when we introduced many of these programs. Most of them were introduced at least 2 years or longer. I recognize that everyone manages change differently. So while change can be challenging for some, anyone who sets a goal, whether it's the start of a new regime or to break a bad habit, knows that there can be growing pains at first, but the payoff in the end is well worth it. I think our state champion football team, who the board will be honoring next week on the 13th, can really testify to what hard work means and continuously improvement means in order to become the state champions. Between games, our football team and their coaches would watch tapes of their games to uncover what plays worked well and what plays were not successful, so they could learn and grow to be the very best in the state. We are all doing the same around teaching and learning to best prepare students for colleges and careers. In administrative meetings, in class observation debriefs, roundtables with staff, Board of Education meetings, strategic planning team meetings, and our general discussions about results from several feedback surveys, we aim to learn and grow together as a team. Instead of tapes for games, we look at student work, community feedback, teacher observations, and results on various measurements. We recently recognized we need more information to support students. And so we piloted and then adopted some measures that are common tools used by teachers all across New Jersey. These tools are providing transparency and information about how we can grow and improve our teaching practices. We thank those who shared their personal experiences tonight and care deeply about every member of our community. We look forward to hearing more at the next week's teachers meeting, and for the upcoming teacher roundtables and discussions, and ongoing discussions with our administrative team. We welcome ongoing family dialogue, as well as invite you to reach out to your children's teachers, principals, and central administration. We have much to celebrate and good work ahead of us. We look forward to sharing and celebrating updates in the new year.
Thank you, Dr. Coffey. Any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn this current session.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion has been made by Ms. Grosso and seconded by Mr. Dembola. Upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education meeting is adjourned at approximately 7:46 p.m.
All in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Motion carried.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.